get on Hammer. I mean, the man sold 10 million records.
I'm not getting on Hammer, and I'm not gonna say he did sell 10 million records, but crack fiends bought 10 million rocks. That don't mean crack is good.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. That was deep.
Selling records don't mean nothing. Like that. I mean, I'm down with him because he's a brother and he's making his mail.
Hammer, you know, everybody talking bullshit, but you fit death row because you wear the right jewelry. You love cars like us.
That's right.
You like to work hard.
That's right.
Yeah, you see, you riding with Oakland. You going to Oakland.
Hard over town.
And you know, we got over here.
Tupac respected him. Suge Knight rolled with him. Redman ran from him. Even Ice Cube stayed quiet. Behind the flashy pants and pop hits, MC Hammer was one of the most feared men in hip-hop, and almost nobody knew it.
I was told that because at the time, Suge Knight was interested in us. Do you go easy? You hear all the stuff talking about, he was taking the money. So we thought, we go with the church boy. We'll go with MC Hammer, but he was the most gangster one of all of them.
I heard about it.
Before he had millions, before the world knew his name, MC Hammer was just Stanley Kirk Burrell, a kid trying to survive the streets of East Oakland, one of the toughest neighborhoods in California. And survival wasn't guaranteed. At just 5 years old, his house burned down. His parents split. By the time most kids were learning to ride bikes, Hammer was learning how to navigate a world that didn't care if he made it. But even in the middle of chaos, he had something rare: hustle. Real hustle. While other kids were running around the block, Hammer was working at the Oakland Coliseum, shining shoes and selling souvenirs. That's where he got his nickname. Baseball legend Reggie Jackson looked at this sharp, determined kid and said, "You remind me of Ham Aaron Hank Aaron." The name stuck. The grind never stopped. Because in Oakland, you didn't fake your way into power. You either had it or you got pushed out. Hammer, he earned it before a single track hit the radio. But this was only the foundation. The world had no idea what was coming next. By the time Hammer hit his late teens, he wasn't just surviving, he was outworking everyone around him. After a short stint in the Navy, he came back to Oakland and locked in on a vision most people laughed at: becoming a rap mogul. But Hammer didn't wait for a label to believe in him. He funded his own rise, selling tapes out of the trunk of his car, promoting shows, pushing flyers, and building buzz one parking lot at a time. He didn't just want fame, he wanted control. And it worked. With help from a few former Oakland A's players, Mike Davis and Dwayne Murphy, he secured two $20,000 loans and launched his first label, Busted Productions. That move, pure chess. While most rappers were waiting for deals, Hammer was building infrastructure, offices, staff, a brand. His operation grew fast. By the late 80s, Hammer had over 100 people on payroll, from dancers and DJs to security and street team workers. Most of them came straight from Oakland, people he knew, people he trusted, and people who had his back for real.
Yo, his entourage was something like I never seen in my life. Like, it was literally
100 people.
More than 100 people, probably.
That's actually how he.
But it was girls, guys, gangsters, dancers,
everybody.
No,
listen,
like
I grew up in the Bay.
And while critics mocked his flashy style and big dance crews, they missed the real story. MC Hammer had quietly built one of the strongest independent machines in hip-hop. When Capitol Records offered Hammer a $1.75 million advance, it wasn't just a record deal, it was a power move. Nobody in hip-hop, especially someone from the streets, had secured a bag like that without already topping charts. Hammer had done it off pure hustle, and the label knew they weren't just signing an artist, they were buying into a machine. And the return, Hammer's debut major label album, Let's Get It Started, exploded. Then came Please Hammer Don't Hurt, and with it, a cultural takeover. You Can't Touch This wasn't just a hit, it was everywhere. TV, radio, award shows, even cartoons. Suddenly, Hammer wasn't a rapper, he was a phenomenon. But behind the cameras, he wasn't dancing for approval. He was stacking power. He had marketing strategies big labels couldn't even match. Flashy visuals, massive dance crews, full-blown tours that felt like Super Bowl halftime shows. And yet, the industry still didn't respect him. To them, Hammer was too commercial, too clean, too flashy. But what they didn't realize was that Hammer didn't care what they thought. Because in the background, he was still calling shots. And if you disrespected him, the consequences weren't just lyrical.
I've even had a record company, and I don't want to lambaste nobody's name or anything, but they told me, Hammer, you know what the problem is? You're a little too clean. Here's what we're going to do. Why don't you start to do a few things that maybe dirty up your image a little bit. Maybe we can sell a little more records.
I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to somebody up. Because people would just do it. We from Oakland. Like he wouldn't even have to say it. They just, if somebody was making Hammer uncomfortable, without him saying I'm uncomfortable, somebody around him would have came to you.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, there's some gangbangers. What they doing out here? He's like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer. Now the thing is, Mike already knew who Hammer was because they did the video. Mm-hmm. We were on the same gang before. So I'm like, what? So basically he came with Hammer like, hey man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You have to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. I'm saying, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there. And for 5 of them straight killers.
By the mid-90s, MC Hammer had made his money, broken records, and built an empire. But instead of coasting off pop success, he made a move that shocked the entire industry. He signed with Death Row Records. This wasn't just a label. It was the epicenter of chaos in hip-hop. Run by Suge Knight, home to Tupac, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg, Death Row was known for violence, power plays, and intimidation. And somehow, MC Hammer walked in like he'd always belonged. To outsiders, it made no sense. Why would a pop rapper join the most feared label in the game? But those who really knew Hammer weren't surprised. Because the truth was, he already had the streets. Now, he was just making it official. Even Tupac, who once saw Hammer as a sellout, changed his tune. The two worked together in the studio, and Pac quickly realized Hammer wasn't some manufactured star. He was the real deal. Respected, connected, feared. But Hammer didn't need to raise his voice or play tough to earn that respect. He carried himself with a calm, focused energy that made people listen. Even in a room full of killers, Hammer didn't need to posture. His name carried enough weight on its own. And it wouldn't take long before the industry learned that lesson the hard way. Tupac, one of the most fearless voices in hip-hop, had doubts about Hammer at first.
Get on Hammer. I mean, the man sold 10 million records.
I'm not getting on Hammer, and I'm not gonna say he did sell 10 million records, but crack fiends bought 10 million rocks. That don't mean crack is good. Selling records don't mean nothing. I mean, I'm down with him because he's a brother and he's making his mail.
To Pac, Hammer seemed like a sellout, too mainstream, too polished. But once Hammer joined Death Row, everything shifted. They worked together, spent time in the studio. And as Pac watched how Hammer carried himself, the loyalty, the composure, the quiet power, his respect grew fast. Tupac started to understand, this dude's not fake. He's just smarter than most of us.
What's up, Tupac? What's up? What's up, Hammer? All right.
It's game from Oakland. He's talking about Oakland, the spirit, the culture, the ancestors. The Pac I was with was his last 8 months at Death Row. I was with him every day. But you ain't never heard me talk about no stories on nobody's platform. You ain't heard me go to none of these Hip Hop 50, and just for the record, I got invited to every one. I'm really 60 years old. So I can't really be, I can't get with the fakeness of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do it with a young cat, but I can't come around old cats and still be pretending. What you want me to call you? 6-shooter, X6 shooter. Man, come on, man. Ain't none of your bodies turned up yet. Pac got me out here today. My first hip-hop 50 event that I said yeah to, and the only one, is to come and say how much I love Pac. Tupac, hands down the greatest rapper ever. It's not even a question of that.
Most rap beefs stayed on wax. Hammer, he skipped the mic and went straight to real-world consequences. When Third Base dropped their track, The Cactus, they thought they were being clever. A slick little line compared their album to Hammer's. The Cactus turned Hammer's mother out. But Hammer wasn't in the mood for metaphors. According to MC Search, Hammer wasn't just offended. He was furious. So furious that he allegedly put a $50,000 hit on the group. His brother, Louis Burrell, reportedly called Def Jam's president and said one thing: "Good, they're dead," then hung up.
And here's somebody say, is Third Base on their way to LA? And she goes, yeah. And the boy says, good, they're dead. This is Louis Burrell. And hangs up. Yeah, it's true. There's a hit. Rolling 60 Crips, 30,000 members, $50,000, dead. And it's one dude right in front of me who's got his hand on his ratchet, pulls down his mask and he goes, yo, man, I love that record, but I was finna smoke you right now, homie. And the dude right next to me comes over and goes, yo, can I get an autograph, man? And he's like, yo, homie, I was finna smoke you too. You know, Pookie didn't say nothing. I was finna smoke you, man. I called Russell. I said, yo, this shit is real. This shit is real. This motherfucker put a hit out on us over some lyrics.
What followed was pure chaos. Third Base flew into LA for a promotional event, and the moment they touched down, the threats were real. Rolling 60s Crips surrounded the venue, cars full of men, with Mac 11s boxed them in. The crew had to wear Kevlar, disguise themselves as security, and sneak into their own show. And the craziest part, Search says he's been in therapy for over 25 years because of it. That's how serious it got, over one bar. And Hammer never blinked. I wish I could move past it, Search said years later. But when someone tries to kill you over a rap lyric, you don't just get over that. But Hammer wasn't done sending messages.
Security grabs us, we run out the building. We get into the van, we start heading down the hill. There's two blue cars. And these dudes get out, Mac 11s, pointing at the vehicle. Pookie jumps out, throws his signs up, they get back in, they leave. When we went to sound check, the entire palace, which is next across the street from the Capitol building, you know, is circled by blue vehicles. Because the Rolling 60 got like 50,000 members. And they figure out that the only way to protect us to get into the palace that night is we have to go in as security. So we're in Kevlar, I think it was ACS Security was the name of the security company. We got the jackets, we got the hats, we got dark glasses. I'm saying goodbye to my girl, she's crying.
In 1992, Redman thought it'd be funny to throw shade at Hammer and his family. On a skit called Funky Uncles, he joked, he ain't SHT, his mama ain't SHT, his daddy ain't SHT, asterisk. The punchline? Not worth it. 3 years later, on the final episode of Yo, MTV Raps, Redman was face to face with the man himself. Hammer walked straight up and said, "You young, I respect what you do, but don't ever talk about my mama again. You understand me?" Redman's reply, "Yes, sir."
Listen to my first album when I did the skit, and I was like, you know what? That damn MC Hammer, fuck him, fuck his mama, and the whole nine. That came up to me on MTV Cribs on the last episode they had. When the last episode they shot, when they had everybody rapping on it, MC Hammer was there. That nigga approached me. He was like, "Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me?" I said, "Yes, sir."
He wasn't playing tough anymore because he had already seen how Oakland moved. He admitted later that Hammer's crew chased him out of the city and made it clear, don't ever bring that disrespect back. And he didn't. In Redman's own words, "I got the message. I seen what his people were capable of. I'm good, bruh."
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. That was deep.
It wasn't just the rappers who feared him. Even the gangsters backed off. Fat Joe tells the story of running into Hammer at a Vegas airport. Hammer sat him down and said, "Yo, Joe, don't get it twisted. I do the dancing, but I get it poppin' for real." Joe laughed it off, but later admitted, Hammer ain't no sucker. He's connected, respected, physically built. He'd put hands on somebody for real. E40, another Bay Area legend, backed it up. His brother was gangster. Hammer's from Oakland. He don't have to say much. Everybody knows what it is. This was the part of Hammer the world never saw. While the media mocked his pants, real ones knew better than to speak his name recklessly.
Hammer, them, our people looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call and all this will go away.
MC Hammer isn't just a rapper from the 90s. He's not just a pop act with shiny pants and a few dance moves. He was a blueprint for business, for power, and for keeping it real without ever having to say it twice. He didn't flash guns. He didn't threaten on tracks. But behind the scenes, his word was enough. His reputation solidified in silence. So the next time someone laughs at MC Hammer, remind them, Suge Knight feared him. Redman apologized. Third Base ran. Tupac respected him. Because real gangsters don't need to say they're gangsters. They just make one phone call. And everything gets quiet.